Thank you, Jerry, for those wonderful remarks. Thank you for all of you've done at Penn Law School. Also, thank you for acknowledging what was clearly a high point among the faculty of the year, us winning the softball game against the graduating class. And for everybody who played in the 3L and LLM class, thank you for letting us win. This year, we are proud to announce that 2 faculty members have been presented with university awards. Professor Regina Austin was selected as the recipient of the Penn Women of Color Helen O. Dickens Award, and Professor Amy Wax received Penn's Christian R. and Mary F. Lindback Award for distinguished teaching. Please join me in congratulating both of them. And now, several of our graduating students will be making presentations. The Harvey Levin Award for Teaching Excellence will be presented to Professor Catherine Struve by Craig Carter and Frank DeSimone. And the LLM Award for Teaching Excellence will be presented to Professor Gideon Parchomovsky by Esperanza Franco Jimenez. We're being efficient here. And the Class of 2015 gift will be presented by Rajvi Patel. Please first welcome Craig and Frank.
I am Craig Carter, and I'm joined by Frank DeSimone, and it is our honor to award the Harvey Levin Memorial Award for Teaching Excellence to Professor Catherine Struve. Just 3 short years ago, only a few blocks down the road at the National Constitution Center, we kicked off our law school career sharing a dinner table with Professor Struve. And I vividly remember leaving that night thinking that she was nothing like the law professors I had seen in the movies. She was kind-hearted and unassuming, yet unquestionably brilliant. The following morning, that same kind, easygoing person we had met the night before blew us away when she began cold calling without a seating chart. As Geraldine mentioned, she had memorized all our names and faces, and while she didn't tell us, I'm confident that she knew all of our hometowns, favorite shows, and even blood types. While on one hand, her brilliance was intimidating, taking the time to master each student's name is just a reflection of her commitment to teaching and her care for her students. I distinctly remember one cold call, on Parents and Partners Day, in fact, when her care was on full display. I sat for the first half of her civil procedure class, like many of my peers with parents in the room, praying that she didn't call on me. You see, for many years, I had convinced my parents that I was smart. And I certainly did not want that untruth to come out in a law school lecture hall. Sure enough, mid-prayer, I hear the 2 most disturbing words, Mr. Carter. Like most 1Ls, I begin having a panic attack inside, but I calm myself down by saying, if you're gonna get cold called in front of your parents, your best bet is to have Professor Struve do it. You see, Professor Struve took a compassionate approach to the Socratic method, allowing us students to develop and defend our position, debate the merits, and arrive at the right answer without intimidation, adversarial intent, or embarrassment. I've always joked, and the rest of Section 2 can attest to this, that a Struve cold call goes a little something like this. What's 2 plus 2? The student, 10. Struve, that's interesting. Why don't you try subtracting 6? Oh, 4, the student would say. Then Professor Struve, with unmatched enthusiasm, see, you had it the whole time.
But it is not only her merciful cold calls that make her a favorite among students, although these do certainly help very much, but also her brilliance as a scholar and her work outside of the classroom. Because without question, Professor Struve is a nationally renowned expert in the field of civil procedure, notoriously one of the most difficult and perplexing subjects for 1Ls around the country. Make no mistake, 12b6 motions, the Erie Doctrine, these things are the stuff of nightmares. But Professor Struve has an uncanny ability to make them accessible and, dare I say, even fun. Similarly, while federal courts is regarded as one of the most difficult classes in the school, it is regularly enrolled to capacity. And for those students who are brave enough to take it, unlike the 2 of us standing here, They report that it was one of their most rewarding academic experiences at Penn Law. Indeed, even when the subject is esoteric, such as federal Indian law, Professor Struve has truly amassed something of a cult following among students. When she is not pushing her students to strive for greatness in the classroom, Professor Struve, like all good Penn affiliates, is involved in a myriad of extracurricular activities. She serves as a reporter to the Judicial Conference Advisory Committee on Appellate Rules, and also as a reporter to a Third Circuit task force that has prepared model jury instructions in civil cases. And in her no doubt abundance of spare time, when she's not doing all these things, she also co-chairs the clerkship committee at Penn Law, writing hundreds of letters, placing phone calls, and zealously advocating on behalf of her students. In fact, as one of our classmates noted, he received the prestigious clerkship offer from a judge solely on the basis of Professor Struve's recommendation. By any measure, Professor Struve embodies teaching excellence, and it is easy to appreciate why we, the Penn Law class of 2015, voted and why our Penn Law experience was all the richer and more rewarding for her mentorship. Thus, it is our pleasure and honor on behalf of our class to award the 2015 Harvey Levin Memorial Award for Teaching Excellence to Professor Catherine Struve.
Hello, everyone. There's something very special about this award. It is the first time that the LLM community has been able to vote democratically for an award to be received by an outstanding scholar at Penn Law. For that, the LLMs thank Dean Clinton and Dean Pritchett for making this award part of the legacy of the LLM program, and in particular, a legacy of the LLM class of 2015. But there's something even more special about this award, and that it's his recipient, Professor Gideon Parchomovsky. It is so fitting that the first recipient of the LLM Award for Teaching Excellence was himself once an LLM student at Berkeley Law. Professor Parchomovsky knew exactly what it felt to be like an LLM. He knew what it meant to study law in a language that is not your native language, and he shared that empathy with the LLM community. He made us feel like there was no language barrier, and he made us realize that we had to step out of our comfort zone and speak up in class without worrying if we pronounced something correctly or even if we made up a word. He always encouraged us to be the legal scholars that we aspired to become. Now, we all know that Professor Parchomovsky is a leader in the legal community and that his accomplishments in academia are infinite. But he has this incredible ability to simplify and explain the most complex concepts, especially when he helped us decipher the Copyright Act. Because sometimes you can read a section over and over again, and you can basically come to one of two conclusions. Either just drafters were trying specifically to make the language as complicated as possible so no one on earth could possibly understand it, or somebody was taking tequila shots while they were writing that law down. But despite of the difficulty of copyright and trademark law, for Professor Parchomovsky, his office hours were not over until he was sure you understood the materials, regardless of his very busy life. As for Gideon Parchomovsky as a person, it's very hard to express in one word what a special human being he is. His respect for every student, his humility, his kindness, his passion for teaching, and his willingness to reflect and to improve at all times make him the best professor I and most of my colleagues have ever had. He's the kind of professor that goes beyond his call of duty and helps his students in every possible way he can. He's that professor I'm sure many of you have had in your life. That professor who not only is able to build a strong narrative around a passion for the subject that he teaches, but who also inspires you to pursue your dreams. Professor Parchomovsky, please. for understanding the challenges we faced as international students in America. Thank you for challenging us to make the best of our year at Penn Law. Thank you from the LLM class for inspiring us to realize that if there is a will, there is a way. While it is your name on this plaque today and your work that is being honored by the school, it is we, the students of the LLM class, who truly have the great honor of having been your students. Thank you.